with people in Hallandale. I don't know how else, or I'd have to go into a whole dissertation, and I'm getting very nervous.
So, in other words, you think the city's got some problems, right?
Definitely.
Like any other city in South Florida. There's crime. There are hookers out here on Federal Highway right up the street. They're probably, in fact, some of the guys might want to check that out on their way out of here. We've even got a little protection for them just to make sure before they leave.
That's just what I need.
I mean, Hallandale needs to start promoting safe sex, too, right, Sonny? Of course. Sonny's in another world over there. He forgot what that means. We've got people, jaywalkers, getting killed walking across Hallandale Beach Boulevard. Now, how is it? I mean, we're glad to be out here today. We're all having a good time. But how is it that the city commission has got the time, with all the problems that you're upset about, to make a resolution to try to get me off the air? How do they have the time to do that?
Leave me alone. We're very efficient because they don't do other things. They're going to say you give them a good show.
We got all the politicians, man, are just seizing upon the opportunity, aren't they?
It's almost Tuesday.
Wow.
Go ahead, ma'am. You're on a roll. Let it all out.
I would like to clarify. I'm sorry. I would like to clarify one thing to you, Neil. All of Hallandale does not consist of Diplomat Mall and Hallandale Beach Boulevard. And there are some people who happen to have mentalities that are able to understand a lot deeper than they...
But you do understand that people who live west of here, especially west of the railroad tracks, the city commission isn't interested in them. You do understand that.
That's why I'm talking... That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm trying to talk about. I'm trying to express.
Okay, let me give you a chance. Would you like to have a chance to win something? I think that because she's been such a good sport, I'd like to give you... I'm going to ask you a trivia question, and I will... give you an opportunity to win a Wynn's Wonder Mug full of Sweet and Low, a fork and spoon from a reputable Hallandale bagel restaurant, and some certificates, compliments of the Diplomat Mall. Would you like to try to win it, ma'am?
Well, I didn't... Okay.
Okay. Here's the question. There are 15 of these located along Hallandale. There are 15 of these on Hallandale Beach Boulevard. Are they dry cleaners, bagel restaurants, or banks?
Banks.
Banks is the answer. This is... lady wins a Wonder Mug of Sweet and Low, a fork and spoon from a Hallandale bagel restaurant, and certificates, compliments of the Diplomat Mall. How do you like that? This is a high-budget show today here, Greg. We're not monkeying around. Now, we're saving that for one of the politicians a little bit later on in the show. Okay, let's get back to where we left off with Greg. Thank you very much, man. I see. Was it worthwhile coming out now? Exactly. Look at the way we turned her around. Now, if you politicians could just do that and please some of the people, look at the way we've got a smile on her face. She's beaming. She's taking something home out of here today. She's having a good time, right? Wait a minute. Okay, anybody that's got questions, we're here to serve. Go ahead, man.
I would like to ask all the commissioners who are present right now, excuse me, I live in the southwest section. They put a sewer in over there, and on the way over here today, all the streets are flooded. I need a rowboat, hip boots, the whole ball of wax. They keep saying it's going to be fixed. It's never fixed. Each time it rains, it's worse. Nat Cutler wants to keep going at it, and they keep telling him he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's one of the most intelligent men I know. Sonny is a very intelligent person. He's too busy putting himself down. He's the only commissioner I know that comes to a meeting so well prepared that when they bring up something, Sonny has it there. He goes, no, and he hits it on the head. But what I would like to know is when Vito is going to correct all of the problems in the southwest section. I would like to know when the flooding goes away. I would like to know when R.J., the city manager, moves into Hallandale, because he lives in Miramar, but he's supposed to live in Hallandale. How can he do anything for us when he's for Miramar? And I want Matt Cutler to get all of those votes he he can get.
Well, as you can hear in the background, the obvious popularity of the politicians here in the city of Hallandale is overwhelming. Mr. Intendola is going to be on with us starting at noon, and you can be sure that we'll have him answer all of the questions. I think the answer to your last question is that Hallandale doesn't allow hillbillies to live in the city limits. So Mr. Intendola has to live in Miramar.
I'm surprised they let me live here because I'm only 49 years old, and I'm the youngest of 12. I'm not a Catholic, and it wasn't an accident, and I love every minute of it.
Don't say it too loud. Sonny's right behind you.
I know, that's Sonny. Sonny and I have go-arounds all the time, but I hit it like it is. They should take and get out and do what they say, not say it and then go in the back room and have a donut.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. This gentleman right here.
I thought you wanted me to hold up. Neil, I've lived in Hallandale for 15 years. I love this city very much. I don't have any complaints except two items that are a bone of contention. After all this time, I like to get it off my chest. Number one, the traffic lights on US 1 and Hallandale Beach Boulevard, even at 6 in the morning. It drives me crazy. You have to wait sometimes 5 or 6 minutes until that timing device changes. Another thing that I have in mind is that mailman track. For 15 years, they've been arguing whether they should buy it, whether they shouldn't buy it on the beach. I say let's buy it and let's expand the beach before more condominiums are put up. I have nothing against condominiums, but let's leave a little land for the people. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, I see a hand in the middle of the crowd back here. Yes, sir.
Is this supposed to be fun, or is this a council meeting? We're talking issues here that if they're important, go to your council. Go to your commissioners.
Good point.
We're here to party.
Good point. Yeah, we're supposed to be here having a good time today, but it is interesting only from the standpoint that we're discovering that there are a lot of problems in this community that the politicians haven't taken care of. And it's really interesting to me that just before an election, the politicians, some of them in particular, looking to grab a little bit of public support and to show the people how much they're the warriors behind the city of Hallandale, seize upon a radio talk host, and we want to boycott the sponsors and get them off the air when they have all of these other monumental problems that have people up in arms in this community. As you said, the streets are flooded here in Hallandale after the all-night rain. There are dozens of legitimate problems in this community, and instead of being jokers and clowns, we'll leave the clowning to Crazy Greg over here with his frog on the head and the whole... He's made a career out of that. He makes his living that way. But you folks who are supposed to be the politicians taking care of the problems in this community, that's what you ought to be attending to, and let us have the fun and a little laugh and a little bit of humor. In fact, maybe I ought to work for the Chamber of Commerce in Hallandale.
Neil, you have worked for the Chamber. You have done more for Hallandale than all the Chamber of Commerce has put together.
I mean, look around us. We've got people here every age from 15 to 150. We've got a mixed crowd of people from all over. A lot of them came from outside of the city, and that's what it's all about. This community doesn't need to be some kind of a closed fraternity for just a small group of special people who want to run everything and want everything catered to them. This community needs to be a place for everybody. As a matter of fact, with the help of people like Greg, we can actually get people under the age of 100 in this community.
We're trying. We're trying.
Okay, let's take another brief commercial timeout. When we come back, we've got some little musical tidbits back at the station that we might drop in here and there. It's 10:36 at WINZ. We're live at the Diplomat Mall, and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. It's 10:39 at WINZ. We're live at the Diplomat Mall. We got a lot of prizes to give away today, too, as a matter of fact. Some of the most exciting gifts in Hallandale, salt and pepper shakers, and the Sweet and Low. Probably some of the restaurants are going to thank us for what we're doing here today. We also have some surprise visitors, some guests who are going to be stopping by. We have the Poetry Lady. And I notice even my mother is over here today, and I guess everybody in the audience, you know, some of these intemperate things that have been said, personal attacks against me and against my mother and so on. My mother, first of all, doesn't eat early birds, and she is here to testify for it right over here. I think we ought to have a round of applause for my mother, who came, by the way, all the way from Hollywood. So that shows you loyalty. She came all the way from beautiful Hollywood. Okay, let's, you want to, okay, bring her up on here. People want to meet my mother. Just escort her up here on the stage. I don't want to put her on the air because she might be too good. But the audience would like to get a chance to meet my mother, who does not eat early birds and does not push people out of the way, and is a lovely lady. And I almost want to say I learned it all from my mother, but then, of course, some of the politicians here get upset about that and start attacking her. Here she comes. See, I told you if you stuck with me long enough...
I'm going to give you a kiss.
Okay. I told you if you stuck with me long enough, I'd make you a celebrity. That's enough. Get her out of here already. Okay. Okay, let's... we got some other people in the audience who want to participate in our trivia contest, want to win some prizes here this morning. Where did Mark go? Did he disappear? We need to get some of the other people with these trivia questions. I think while we're waiting to find a volunteer, if Kyle is listening back at the station, probably what we ought to do is crank up a little musical tidbit, because all of this started, you know, for about 2 months ago. We started talking about early bird dinners on the show, and everybody got into the act, and they started talking about different kinds of behavior and stealing the silverware and the sweet and low and putting the tablecloth in it. It turned into quite a riotous time. And then the people at Superstar Creations, who make the Miami Vice jackets, came along, and they made me a jacket, which I wish we were on television, but the people here can see it. It's my Hallandale Vice jacket, and it's got a little picture of pumpernicks and early bird dinners on it and so on. And they also came up with a little bit called Hallandale Vice. And we played it on the air, and it caught on. It became #1 on the hit parade immediately. And we would have thought that the people in Hallandale, the politicians, would have really enjoyed it and got a great time with it. But as it turned out, they got a little thin-skinned, a little bit upset about it. So maybe we ought to play it, Kyle, and let people in Hallandale really hear what put them on the map. Here it is.
They're two Miami cops with a hot new beat. They're on the streets fighting crime.
Hey, Pops, that's a handicapped space there.
Yeah. In Hallandale Vice.
We got a problem. The Gray Gang is up to their old tricks.
Lieutenant, isn't that the group of senior citizens who went around trying to get the early bird special after 7?
Yeah, they're back in town.
Let's go get them.
They'll stop at nothing to clean up the streets.
Hey, lady, you can't cross here. You'll have to cross at the light.
And they're determined to clean up the smuggling business.
All right, sister, you're under arrest.
Oh, so now you're arresting my wife. What's the charge?
Possession of powder. Open that purse, Tubbs. Let's see that white stuff. Yeah, just a thought. She's got over 100 bags in here.
Of what?
Sweet and low. From that restaurant you just came out of. Let's take them in.
Yes, they're a couple of hit Miami cops on a hot new beat in Hallandale Vice. Premiering this fall on MBZ.
Okay, I'd like you to meet the gentleman who is responsible. He's he's one of those people who likes to be in the background, and he's a reluctant guest on the show here this morning. But this is Marlon Bailey from Superstar Creations, and they created Hallandale Vice. See, I told you I'd make all you guys stars. You didn't believe me. I mean, Don Johnson couldn't do it, so I guess I got to try to do it. Where did this come from, this Hallandale Vice? You are the fellows that make the Miami Vice jackets.
Right.
And all of a sudden you walked in the studio one morning and you had put this together for me. Where did the idea come from? Just from hearing the conversation about the early bird?
Just hearing you talk about it on the show, because we listen to it pretty much all the time.
Unbelievable. And this was all done in the spirit of fun, right?
That's all. Just like a spoof, a parody, that's all. Something's with this thing, I think. I don't know.
No, that's okay. We're not going to let you say too much anyway. You might be too good. We don't want you to muscle in on the act. But I just wanted to bring you up here and let people know that you were, in fact, maybe when you get up, you can hold this up and let everybody see it. The most beautiful thing I ever saw in my life. And they've also created another record, which we're going to hear later. And I should have brought it along with me. They gave me a beautiful gold record for it yesterday. We made it number one on our hit parade on WINZ, called Wasting Away in Good Old Hallandale, which has become a folk classic in South Florida. It really is sensational.
We appreciate all your publicity.
Okay, Marlon, thank you very much. Maybe we want to hold this up for the crowd who couldn't see it before. Okay, let's give away some of these. Also, I see Crazy Greg is handing out something. Can we see, you want to say what those are?
Well,
I don't want to get into a lot of trouble.
By the way, you talk about things being stolen. Things do miss. We miss things from our place.
Don't do that.
I just wanted to throw this in real quick. We get things missing from our place too. Somebody took a bartender the other day. I wish they'd please bring him back. Definitely, we're missing a bartender. Somebody did steal it right out in front of everybody's nose at the Button South. But what were you looking for trivia or what?
No, you're giving away all of these. I don't want to.
Oh, we're going to throw those. We're going to throw those out.
Don't even joke about that. Marlon Bailey's holding up my jacket, threatening to throw it out into the crowd. That'll be the day.
You want to see a riot, Neil? You want to see a riot?
Crazy Greg is about to. He's brought in. Thank you, Marlon. He's brought in a package of hundreds of beautiful multicolored leis. And before we came on the air this morning, he said that this would be a first for many of the people in Hallandale, the leis that he is handing out here. I'll let you interpret that in any way you like. So the people who are close are going to go away with something here in Hallandale this morning. Okay, let's try to get a little order here and go back to our trivia if we can. This is almost as good as handing out the Wins Wonder mugs, I want you to know. This is turning into a repeat of that. Okay, who would like the next prize we've got, salt and pepper shakers from a reputable Hallandale restaurant, an assorted collection of colorful Hallandale postcards, and gift certificates, compliments of the Diplomat Mall. Who would like to try a trivia question? Okay, 9 minutes before 11 at WINZ. I'm Neil Rogers. We're doing our whole show today at the Diplomat Mall in Hallandale, and Marlon Bailey is about to take his life in his hands here. I'm glad we're not on television because we may not want to show what's going to happen here on television. Marlon has one of his Miami Vice jackets that he is about to throw up for grabs into the crowd. He asked me if I wanted to do it, and I'm not that crazy, I'll tell you that. There's no chance. So I think what you ought to do is take a couple of steps up over here, and just out in that general direction over there, just give it a good heave. Just do your best Jim Palmer imitation, and we'll see who winds up with a Miami Vice jacket. Wish we had television for this. No, go ahead, Marlon. We'll protect you. There it goes, way back into the crowd, and now you see what a well-behaved crowd this is. That would have caused a riot if we would have done that. If we would have done that in an early bird restaurant, that would have caused a riot. And here at the Diplomat, what is this lady all exercised about? Let's get before we get our poetry lady on. Let's get this lady on the air down here with the blue lei. What is she all excited about? She is so exercised. She's making foaming at the mouth into a literal meaning here. What are you all upset about, man?
I'm not upset. I love it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a ball. And Neil, 73. How about that, honey? And I never took a sugar in my life. Here it is. Don't forget, I got a lei at my age, and it didn't cost me nothing.
We told you we'd do something for you here today, didn't we? Trust me.
Hey, the kids here this back home.
Okay, now we have another special guest on the stage with us. You're the lady that called me the other day?
I need a microphone.
You're talking into one. We hear you fine.
Where?
It's magic. It's right there. It's by the side of your mouth, man.
Do I talk now?
You talk right now. This is our poetry lady who called in the other day. Has got a little something special for us.
My name is Faye Shapiro, and I live in Hallandale. I have reached the golden age of 70. My hobbies are writing and public speaking, and I volunteer my services to many organizations, which I find most rewarding. I've studied the science of gerontology and the various issues on aging. I consider Neil Rogers a most articulate and dynamic personality. I call my poem Wisdom. Wisdom. A good name everyone yearns. To warrant to this, it must be earned. 'Tis not the chronological years that mount, but your achievements during those years that count. For age is a quality of the mind, and if you've left your dreams behind, if all your hopes are cold, well then you will feel old. But if for life you have a zest, and from life you seek the best, take advantage of all the honey, enjoy spending your children's money. If love you hold, you will never feel old. Here are a few lines which are very interesting. So to maintain good health,
Go ahead, Faye. Don't let him get to you. Keep on. You're on a roll.
Good health in later years, follow sensible programs of diet, exercise, rest, and relaxation, and listen to the professionals who know how to help you make your golden years really golden. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Faye. Come on now. Thank you very much.
I would like to say that mother's program. May I say that mother's poem?
No.
Okay, yeah.
That was enough, Faye. Trust me. Quit while you're ahead, okay? You really hit it on a peak there, and I think now is a good time to fold it up and pack it in. Okay, that's Faye Shapiro, and I think she deserves a lot of... You save it for me. I'll read it on the air on Monday. Trust me, Faye. Okay, listen, we're at the end, just about at the end of the first hour. We got our first little confrontation going on here. I'm telling you, this woman with the blue lei, trust me, don't let her touch your balloon, believe me. They're getting a little bit restless, so I think what we're going to have to do is take a little bit... I don't believe it. I really don't. These are some of the ones we're talking about, right? She must have been one of the women at Drug World that I saw backing out when I drove in here this morning. Anyway, we're going to take a pause. We have a news break coming up, and then we'll come back for hour number 2. We have several more prizes. And if you get a chance to come on by, we have another 2 hours to go. And the best is yet to come because the city manager, good old Argy Intendola, is going to be coming by in the noon hour.
Picking and grinning.
He's going to be mostly picking and maybe grinning a little bit in the beginning. And Greg was just telling me that what you see is what you get, that this is a real old country boy.
It really is, but I want to say, Neil, you're going to be very surprised with RJ. You're definitely going to be surprised. RJ is going to show you a side that you haven't seen, and you just ask him the questions. I know, that's what I say. Yeah. You just ask him some of those questions. Put RJ at ease, and I think you're going to have a ball with RJ. You're going to have a great time.
He might even shake my hand too, huh? Sonny Rosenberg wouldn't shake my hand this morning. Is that incredible?
That is incredible.
I was just destroyed, devastated.
I think he was a little afraid because his constituents are all standing out here, and he's afraid of the votes that are coming up. But the city is, they're looking forward to progressing and getting young people in. But this has been phenomenal this morning. It's just been unbelievable. These people are great. It shows you that the tongue-in-cheek that they know it is. They're having a great time. They know you put them on the map in Hallandale. And also, it's only one or two of the people that don't understand, oh, what is all this going to be? He's putting all us down. It's only one or two. It's not the hundreds that are out here. It's not the hundreds. Neil, you've done a great job. Fantastic. And by the way, speaking of younger people, you know all the lifeguards up and down the beach, including Fort Lauderdale, there isn't one that doesn't listen to you every day.
Great.
Not one.
We always knew they had good taste. And speaking of lifeguards and other kind of guards, we want to thank Hallandale's finest for being out here today. They've done a great job, and I think even more of them showed up than we had arranged for, and proving that not all officers are pigs, right?
That
not
is
all of them.
absolutely right. There's some great people in Hallandale. In fact, the force is a young force. It definitely is a young police force.
Well, you know, we stop and think about it. That opens up a possibility for maybe a little takeover here, a little bloodless coup in Hallandale. We get together with some of the right people in the police department. We might arrange for a little something. Except we don't want to get you involved in any of that, you know. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I did.
Good. That's good. I'm glad you came.
I didn't pick that up, Neil.
As soon as I mentioned that, he turned the hearing aid down. As soon as I mentioned something that would get him in a little trouble, we don't.
I got to hear you through those speakers up
there. Okay. See, he was hearing me fine until I made that comment about the takeover. So what do you make of all of this, Mr. Spindell?
This is outstanding, as I said when I first sat down. The interesting thing about it is, you were talking about how Hallandale, you want to give it back to Dade County. At one time in Hallandale's history, and any of the history folks out there, Hallandale was part of Dade County. And in what is considered the deal since Milt Pappas went to the Baltimore Orioles for Frank Robinson, Broward County has Hallandale. And there was a certain part, up until about 5 years ago, that I think was still in Dade. But Broward County, I lived here. I like the area. But I've lived here for 4 years, as I said, prior to the building of Pumpernick, so most of you know how long ago that was. And I have seen the city grow, and I've seen it develop. And it is a city that I think has need of finding its identity, and I think today it's going to find its identity. Not only the city of choice, but a city with a sense of humor. All right?
Mike,
it's building a little sense of
humor. They changed the name of the city. If you notice, the new signs went up yesterday. They have, that's not a joke. They've taken the city of choice down, and it's now the home of the Florida Derby.
Oh, I thought it was
the home of the Florida Derby.
I thought it was Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Well, they're trying to run him for mayor, you know.
I'm working on it. Yeah. I'm going to move right in over on the ocean.
So, Neil, who's taking over for you at 12 o'clock when you go over to the track?
That's an excellent. Is that an offer?
I'll do it.
Is that an offer?
Why not? You can make the first race, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sounds good to me, although I think RJ would be a little disappointed. We don't want to let him down. Okay, let's give away a couple of more of these, because we've got all of this, which we'll never be able to give all away.
Am I eligible to win?
No. In fact, I'll let you give some of them away, okay? We're desperate to get rid of this stuff.
The guy over there that's foaming in his mouth, Lori, over there, right there. Okay. That's nice. RJ got here a little earlier. That's great. Okay. All right, sir, you ready?
True.
Okay. Painted on the water tower on Hallandale Beach are the words, City of Hallandale, this space for rent, Hallandale Beach, Fountain of Youth.
Choice A.
City of Hallandale.
Yes.
That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. And you win a Wynn's Wonder Mug full of Sweet and Low.
A Wonder Mug! Oh!
An assorted collection of Wynn's Art Deco pens, autographed by Barbara Cavendish. Can we say that?
Don't say it. Barbara's sensitive.
And some gift certificates to Diplomat Mall. Let's hear for this, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take a little time out now. It's 11:52 at WYNZ. We're live at the Diplomat Mall in prestigious Hallandale. Put a lid on her, will you please? Do something with her. Give her some doggy downers or something, please. Okay, it's 11:55 at WYNZ. We are live at the Diplomat. We're going to say goodbye to Crazy Greg in just a second. But is this lady, can we do it briefly? Has Lori got that lady over there who had something profound to tell us?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a visitor to your community for several months, and I have nothing positive to say about this program. I did shut it off after a while. I think this gentleman has said the most negative things that I've ever heard. If you'll lend me your ear, I'd be pleased. I've heard nothing positive about the elderly who package bundles in supermarkets, who work as waitresses to make a living, who creep and crawl with canes and other accoutrements for the elderly. I've heard nothing what to do to help them make a life for themselves. I'm highly indignant. I don't live here permanently, but I found this community no different than any community in the whole world. I don't need your help. All I'm saying is I think it's disgraceful that this man is doing so much for his self-aggrandizement. I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Or the bottom of somewhere. Thank you so much, man.
Well, we give equal time here, right?
Absolutely. We're just delighted. We hope she had a wonderful time, and now it's time for her to go back where she came from. Okay, Greg, we only got about a minute.
Well, I want to say, though, Neil, this has been great. There's only been one or two people that are against this, but this has been super for Hallandale, except for the one lady. I closed at 6 o'clock in the morning because Hallandale for tourists is the only place in Broward County open till 6 a.m., but I think this lady over here got in a little early. But anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for Hallandale, and I think the next hour with the Argy Intendola is going to be super. And thanks for everything, Neil. You're
Thank
great.
you, Greg, and we're delighted that you're part of Hallandale. Okay, we've also got some Sunsweet prunes for the lady who just left before she leaves the mall. Okay, when we come back, we have not only is RJ going to show up, but they remixed that Sunshine Country Band song so that you can understand the lyrics, and we promised we would play that on the air, which we will do. And we'll come back at about 6 minutes after the hour. What have we got going on back here?
He's coming down the...
Oh, Mr. Intendola has got his fan club here, and here he comes. All the Hallandale hillbillies are here, so it ought to be quite a third hour, and we'll come back at about 6 past noon.
Rushing through rush hour? Then count on us.
Diplomat Mall in Hallandale, Florida. WINZ presents The Neil Rogers Show. If you'd like to talk to Neil today, don't call. But do come to the Diplomat Mall on Hallandale Beach Boulevard between Route 1 and A1A. And now, here's Mr. Hallandale himself, Neil Rogers.
Okay, it's 12:06 at WINZ. We're at the Diplomat Mall. We've had a great turnout. We thank everybody who has come by. And in a moment, we're going to talk to Argy Intendola, who is the illustrious city manager of Hallandale, who came in with a very grandiose parade into the mall. Just want you to know that one of our folks in the crowd, we've even made it in Maine. I know that our corporate people will be happy about that. We made it all the way to Bangor, Maine. Bangor Daily News, front page, talk show host pits prunes against yuppies, it says in the Bangor Daily News. So we've made it all the way to Maine. And before we get with Mr. Intendola, Ron Aronson of the Broward County Young Democrats is here, and this is not a setup job, but you just happen to come by at this point. And what is it that we can do for you, Ron?
Definitely, Neil. Do you know, before all this thing started with Hallandale, we had voted in Broward County, the Young Democrats in Broward County, about 150 strong young people under the age of 40 had voted you Humanitarian of the Year. And what I'd like to do today is present you with a couple of tickets for our dinner March 27th, and we're looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much.
And also, too, Neil, we want to bring you a little souvenir of some of the things that we've been doing in Broward County.
Excellent. And to describe these for the audience, it says it's a bumper sticker that says, just when you thought it was safe to be a Republican, and it's got the donkey kicking its rear legs up on the other side. And we should have had this earlier for the gentleman who was all upset, that Reagan apologist who was here in the audience earlier.
Hey, there was traffic on I-95. It took time to get here, Neil.
Okay, thank you very much, Ron.
Looking forward to
appreciate
seeing you again.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now also before we get to RJ, who came in, as I said, with a glorious cavalcade of stars in the front of the Diplomat Mall, we promised that we would play something on the air that we were given yesterday. Mr. Intendola is a member of the Sunshine Band, and a couple of weeks ago, when this whole thing started with Hallandale Vice, Mr. Intendola and his band recorded something called the Song of Hallandale. And the initial copy that, well, nobody's ever going to hear any of us unless we get folks to quiet down a little bit. If everybody would stop talking, you'd hear us just fine. And if you're all going to continue to talk, then the people on the radio will hear us just fine, but even Mr. Intendola isn't going to hear us. So if we can have a little bit of quiet and respect for the fact that we're doing a radio broadcast, we'd appreciate it. Anyway, the Song of Hallandale, the original copy that we got, was somewhat muffled, I guess, and there was some controversy as to why it wasn't intelligible and why it wasn't. And Mr. Intendola was good enough, he and his folks, to remix it for us so that we could hear the lyrics on it. So, Kyle, if you've got that, and hopefully people will be able to understand the lyrics, we'll roll it right now.
At the Florida Derby. No primates fight they control. The American spirit here stands aglow. And poor Neil's wondering if the outhouse gang is real. Don't you know they didn't think we'd write this song? They gave us 3 days and we outgrew them all. We hope these words will end in truth. For if it doesn't, for song for Hallandale.
Okay, there it is. That's the Song of Hallandale, and the city manager, Mr. Intendola, is here, and we thank you for remixing that so we could understand the lyrics, and it was a masterful job. And what can I say but welcome to WINZ.
Well, appreciate being here. Appreciate you giving us the opportunity to respond to you. So far, your show has been, as it typically is, contrived, and you let people speak and go on and continue.
Saying during the break that several people wanted to know when Gulfstream opens, and post time I said is 1:15, and I had Doug Dunn on the show for 2 hours yesterday. I don't know if you heard that show or not.
I did.
And we talked about what a fine facility Gulfstream is and what a great meeting they're coming up, and it seems to me that Gulfstream is in Hallandale last time I looked, right?
So is the Hollywood dog track.
And we heard about that. I wasn't aware of that, but we were all open to learn new things, which is why we're here today. But, I love Gulfstream, and a lot of the people here love Gulfstream, so that's another thing that we've promoted very positively about Hallandale. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Now, where were we when, I'm sorry, I'm sure you're confused with all this technical shenanigans here, but...
Well, now you got me all lightened up here now.
You mean that's it?
No, it's not it.
Okay. No, because when you came in, you appeared to be, I thought you were serious. I thought, because I know Sonny back there is serious. He wouldn't shake my hand. He's very angry.
I switch back and forth. It's like commission meetings. You got to go with the tide.
This is kind of like a Steve Clark routine, in other words.
Exactly.
On one side 1 minute, and then on the other. Good.
Exactly.
So, in other words, depending on which chair you're sitting in, we can tell what your frame of mind is going to be.
I got a microphone in front of me instead of that headset.
Good. Okay.
So I never could do well in the studio. They had that darn headset on you, and then they tell you to play piano and guitar.
I know. Well, I heard that first cut, believe me. I know what you're talking about.
But I'm glad you mentioned Gulfstream.
Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned Gulfstream because Hallandale, for a city of 40,000, it's the home of the World Classic, which is tonight for the dogs. It does have it's the home of the Florida Derby, Gulfstream Park, Broward County Fair, which brings in almost 700,000 people. What other small community in Broward and Dade County has those type of events that occur within it? It is the financial capital of the South. There are more banks and square mile in a mile on Hallandale Beach Boulevard than anywhere else except Wall Street. So it has some unusual characteristics, and those are the ones that I think we should also point out.
Okay.
Those are the good points.
Well, I'm waiting. Well, wait a minute. It's only, like 3 minutes since we came back on after the break. Is that it?
I'm having trouble again hearing you, but what'd you say?
I say, is that it as far as all the good points of Hallandale? We got a lot of banks. We know we have Gulfstream, which is a beautiful track. Now, the thing about Hollywood, I'm a little concerned about that. Why is it if the dog track is in Hallandale, they call it Hollywood Dog Track?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them that.
Are they ashamed to be in Hallandale?
I'm not going to answer the question.
No, but doesn't it say, for example, Pompano is in Pompano Beach, and they call it Pompano Park, and
do you want Gulfstream to change the racetrack to Hallandale Racetrack?
No, but at least they don't call it North Miami Beach Downs or something like that. They don't deny that they don't pick the name of another city. For example, if Detroit Race Course called itself Lansing Downs, people would say, gee, they must be embarrassed to be in Detroit.
I was having a little trouble hearing you, sorry.
Okay.
I'm hearing the echo out there more than I am you directly.
Okay, did our chief engineer expire on us or what? I think, where is he? He's on his hands and his knees. That's not unusual. Okay, I think what he needs is to have that monitor turned up a little bit, that little radio set there turned up so you can hear something. Is what you need. Now you got it.
I got it now.
Okay. All right. See, I've been in the business a long time. I'm into this high-tech stuff, like little transistor radios. Well, is that basically it? When you first sat down there, I thought there was all of this hostility, and we've done you folks dirty, and I'm reading that you want to get me off the air, and one of your commissioners is sending petitions around to get my sponsors to boycott the show, and now I get the feeling like in 10 minutes, that's it.
No, I don't know of any commissioner trying to boycott your show, sending around petitions. The city is not sponsoring anything. These are grassroots movements occurring in the community.
Well, gee, that was...
The city commission did a resolution, and that has been the city's
What did the
response.
resolution say? What did it say? I don't know. You know, you can paraphrase. I don't need it word for word, but I mean, in essence, what did it say?
That the type of language and derogatory, inflammatory comments made about citizens of Hallandale was not in good taste, and that it be stopped. Any word of boycotting or anything else is not in the resolution.
Well, gee, maybe now I know why you don't read the Hallandale Digest, because what they wrote in there must evidently be fiction.
And by the way, I was listening to a tape of yours the other day where somebody was reading the digest. I did not read that particular article, but they had the last two paragraphs they read to you, I never said. It was like an ending editorial. I feel about the digest the way you do about the Miami Herald. All of a sudden, they're pro-city in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe it's fashionable for them. But I think you have to agree this is an unusual community. You never had...
Yeah, we agree with that.
You never had a response like this from the other organizations, municipalities, agencies that you've attacked.
Well, no, we never had a response quite like this. We've had a response, for example, Miami Beach, we've been battling back and forth with for years. My friend, I call him Captain Blue Sky, Bruce Singer over there on the beach, the vice, bring out all the propaganda and tell us how the beach is coming back and about all the young people who are coming to spring break on the beach. And, you know, over the years, I've thought a lot of what he's been saying is blue sky, and I tell him that, and we have kind of a fun relationship, and I play the music Blue Skies in the background, and the beach doesn't take up resolutions to try to intimidate me or silence me or to show that they're thin-skinned or they don't have a sense of humor.
Well, nobody thinks that... I've never heard anybody say that they could intimidate you. I've never heard anybody say, I've heard stories on other programs on your station where they say you're not going to beat him. I never heard anybody say they were going to beat you. I don't think anybody believes they are going to beat you. But they have a right, these grassroots movements have a right to attack back. You know, the city doesn't thrive on your show each day. We have some employees that listen to it, they laugh about it. When I knew I was coming on the air, I taped it. You know, we have it's a $30 million organization, almost 500 employees.
You have a cassette recorder.
That's right.
Good.
And tape the show, and I take it home, you know, at night, and sometimes listen to it. So you think the city's heavily involved in this whole thing, the city government. It's not. We're sitting back laughing, and I think we have a commission that generally laughs about it. Now, the resolution was a response to the community. You upset a lot of people.
Well, where are they? Where are they? Wait a minute. Let's find out. We have a very large number of people out here today.
All right.
If the things that I have said over the past 2 months about Hallandale have upset you, let's hear it. Okay. If the things that I've said about Hallandale haven't upset you and you've gotten a kick out of it, let's hear it. Where are they?
What'd you do? Hand out $50?
Where are they? Now, we don't buy the audience. We can't afford it. We're a low-budget operation.
What'd you do? Hand out $50 or what?
Now, you see what we're handing out, sweet and low out here. If that's what buys them in Hallandale, I mean, come on, get serious. So where are all of these people? I mean, we come out here in a spirit of fun. We've been running the promos. It's been in all the newspapers,
You've
on
had
TV.
Fun?
And
You've had fun?
I've had a lot of fun here today.
We're here to have fun.
Good. And we've invited all the people who disagree, all of these people who are madder than hell. Mr. Rosenberg says they're mad as hell. They're not going to take it anymore. They want them off the air. Where are they?
Can't that be
done?
done?
It's too early for the early bird. Where are they?
Can't that be said in tongue-in-cheek? Just like everything you say is said in tongue-in-cheek?
Okay, so I want the audience to pay particular note. It's 12:34. on a Saturday. This is March the 7th, 1987, and this is kind of like an unofficial proclamation. In other words, you're fessing up now that all of this response by the city has been tongue-in-cheek.
No, I'm not going to go that far. I didn't say that
what you were
either.
saying.
No, I didn't say all of it's been tongue-in-cheek.
Most of it.
Most of it, yes.
Okay.
Saying that you had the personality of all the seven dwarfs wrapped into one was
Right.
tongue-in-cheek. Just a Channel 7
I
cut
may be
part.
as big as 5 of them.
No,
but not all
Channel 7 cut that part out. I wasn't talking about your anatomy. I was talking about your personality. They cut the first part of that sentence off. But that's what they wanted you to hear. It took me a little while to figure out what was going on. You're into business. We're not. So once we figured out what the program was about and everything, I think it settled down. I laugh at your comments when you make them. It's bothered me a little bit. I can't go out anywhere, but...
What is this now? Somebody has got a ghetto blaster here. I have no idea what that is. Okay, we've got all kinds. We've got like 15 shows going on here at the same time. He's got a tape he wants me to play. No chance. We can't do it in here. We can't. No, we can't airmail it back to the studio. Okay, let's. I beg your pardon. See, they're getting a little bit restless now. This early bird thing affects their mind after a little while. They've heard it so often that everything that comes out of their mouth is early bird. When I got here this morning at 8:30, you know, the show started at 10. There was a whole crowd of people here at 8:30. They were the early birds who arrived here.
Oh, those are the early worms.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's 12:37 at Wins. Let's take another commercial break. And when we come back, let's get the audience involved with Mr. Intendola. And they seem to be prepared. We're going to try to keep it on a nice, friendly level. We'll be back from the Diplomat Mall after this. 12:40 at the Diplomat Mall. Neil Rogers with you till 2 here on WINC. City Manager Argy Intendola is here. Man, I'm telling you, you've got a chance to wear every piece of equipment so far that we've got in the library.
Are you doing this to me intentionally? What? Listen, Neil, if we could, one of Hallandale's major attributes is our #1 state high school basketball team.
Right.
Who plays tonight in the semifinals, and they're here. Is there any way we could have Coach Samuels come up here? I don't know. Can you hear me, Coach Samuels? You out there?
I think he's shooting baskets back in the back of the mall somewhere.
About it, Coach Samuels.
He's moving on up through the maddening throng. Where is he?
See, where is the Hallandale basketball team?
I think he was hijacked. I think he had a pack of Sweet and Low in his pocket. He was hijacked on the way up here. Is he coming? Oh, he's not here. They said he's not here. But we wish him the best of luck.
The basketball team plays Eli tonight, and
one of your superstars is back here, RJ. Maybe you'd like to chat with him for a second.
This is Steve from the Hallandale High basketball team. As you know, this is the #1 basketball team at this time in the state of Florida. Congratulations. We're glad you came by to show off some of the city's major attributes.
Yeah, we're glad to be here, and I got a lot of other teammates here. This is at a last-minute notice, but we got here. Our coach couldn't get here because he got a tennis match here. But we're here, though. We're glad to be here, though.
Thank you. We wish you the best of luck tonight against Eli.
Yeah, thanks.
Excellent. Very good. Okay, before we go out and get some of the people in the crowd, because I know that they've got some questions and want to get in on the act, too, one of our account executives wanted me to ask you a question. This goes back to what you said about all of this being in tongue-in-cheek, okay? And, of course, I joked about having Hallandale disbanded and about circulating petitions to recall the commission. But, of course, that was all a joke, and we never had any intention of doing it. But it seems to me that some of the more inflammatory comments, or maybe they were misquotes in a Hallandale Digest, inspired some of your residents to do some rather uncivilized things. For example, there were certain sponsors of mine, I don't want to mention them specifically, but I received a lot of harassing and very unruly phone calls, and it seems to me that some of that, at least, came about as a result of the, at least outwardly, intemperate reaction to what we were doing.
It may have, but here again, the city government itself has refused to participate with these groups. We're not saying that we may not philosophically agree or disagree with them, but you know, there has been some very lively people in the community. Your favorite pal in the world lives here, Gene Stevens. You know, this is a lively place.
And are you telling me that Mr. Stevens, as I've suspected, might be behind much of this? Do you have reason to believe that?
Well, I've talked with him a few times,
yeah.
but I'm sure you know him well.
No, I don't know him well. I know him well enough, but I don't know him well, nor do I desire to know him well.
He's been on your show.
Many years ago, yeah.
Well, you appear to know him well. You talk about him often. I heard the other day his mother called your show, somebody told me. Or you
although she pretends not to be his mother, yeah.
But, so Hallandale has some unusual characters in it. Not that Mr. Stevens is unusual. Oh, I forgot to say at the beginning of the show that the City Commission did not grant me the authority to formally come here as a city manager. What they called me was a free agent. So I'm here on free agent status.
Okay, maybe Mike would like to sign you up for the Mets. I don't know what kind of a fastball you've got. Okay, let's get with some of the folks out here in the audience, and I'm sure some of them are still Hallandale residents and would like to comment either on the whole business that's been going on or have specific questions. And again, I'm going to beg you folks, if we can have a little bit of quiet, and then we're going to be able to hear the people in the audience and hear Mr. Intendola's response. Otherwise, it's including this lady over here. Ma'am, you're kind of like the leader of the pack. We need this quiet, okay? Do you know what that means? Can you define it for her? Write it out on her forehead or something. We need a little bit of order and calm, and let's see if we've got some folks in the audience who want to speak with Mr. Intendola, may have some questions. Let's see a show of hands. This lady back here in the red.
There.
Yes, ma'am.
Neil, I listen to every one of your shows, and my friend also listens, and he is home now very ill, and I would like to say hello to Bob. This is Ruth, Bob. Hello. Thank you.
No personal message. Okay.
This gentleman who looks somewhat apoplectic with his hand up here. Go ahead.
Our prune winner.
Hello. You know, I've been listening for the last few months, and I never really looked at it as an issue against Hallandale. It's really against people and what people do. And I just think it's a disgrace what Mr. Intendola does using his public office. It's a blatant misuse of the position. I have absolutely no respect for anybody who would use their office, their power of office, to try and influence people in the way that he tries to do that.
Okay, Mr. Intendola is attempting to speak, but the only way we're going to hear him is to get his mic on. Yes, sir.
What's this, another setup? I mean, picking people out in the office?
Yeah, I want to wonder, Mug.
Well, I'll tell you what. Tell you what. You pick them out, okay? Between now and the rest of the show.
Why don't you respond to the question, Mr. Intendola? Thank you for your intelligent response, sir.
What's your... This whole thing was done in jest. A sense of humor, and Hallandale didn't take it that way. Period.
Okay, let's see some hands up. And again, you pick them out, RJ. You pick out the ones you want to ask the questions, because otherwise you're going to accuse me of loading, stacking the deck.
It's off and on.
What happened to the other headphones? They were working just fine.
Working
What
now.
happened to them? Oh, okay. Now, let's see the hands again, and you pick them out. Who's going to ask the next question? 12:53 at WINZ at the Diplomat Mall. Somebody in the back is holding up a sign that says Neil Rogers is a form of leukoplakia. Who is holding that sign up? I see the sign, but I don't see a body with it. Can we get the body in here? I mean, obviously, if you want to...
There he is, right over there.
Okay. Who have we
Got a
got
couple
back
of
there?
signs.
I mean, certainly we are an equal opportunity offender here, and if you want to offend me, I'm certainly just as game as Mr. Intendola.
He
Don't want to speak? No speaking English or what? I mean, no comment. Oh, they're leaving now?
Let's give them a hand as they leave. Goodbye.
What do they do? Come in from Tamarack or something? We know that they can't be from Hallandale.
Bust them in.
Okay, where's the gentleman had a question for me? Laurie, I think, over there in the second row.
My name is Todd Barry. I'm from Cafe Barry in Hallandale. Just opened up a restaurant here 7 weeks ago. The city of Hallandale took away 10 of my 14 parking spots in front of the restaurant. I'm not here to talk about the people of Hallandale because they make a living for me. The older people are going to buy me that house in Intracoastal someday. What I want to talk about is the city of Hallandale itself. This is an injustice. They put 14 barricades in front of my restaurant, and they're forcing me out of business. I feel my restaurant is beautifying the city of Hallandale, not just disguising it in some sort of manner that I'm ruining it. Why is this happening? Who can I speak to, and what am I going to do about it? And by the way, Neil, we don't have an early bird.
Good. Well, then we want to save you. Okay, Mr. Intendola, you know anything about this?
I'm not aware of the situation, no. I'm not sure that the city has. I am familiar with the location now. The DOT is widening US 1, and this restaurant is right there. And that's what the barricades are for, a DOT contractor who's widening.
So in other words, the DOT is putting more people out of business again, is that it? Which they're famous for doing. They did that on Griffin Road up in Davie. They put some folks I know out of business up there, and you're allowing them to do it again here in Hallandale?
I'm not sure we have any say-so, and I'm not... don't get me in trouble with the DOT. But we were more than glad to intercede with the gentleman and see what we can do.
Okay.
Thank you, Neil. Love your show.
Good, thank you. And if you... Okay, that's enough for her already. Give her the prune juice and get her out of here already.
Now, you have to expect that kind of reaction once in a while. You took that very well.
I take it all very well. I get paid every day very handsomely to take it well.
You know, I'm getting a little better at understanding all of this as this whole thing moved along over the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's not really all about the points and the issues and all and those things. There may be some of that. I'm sitting here watching you. You're very good at what you do. Stimulating that emotion is what it's all about.
And don't we need that in South Florida? Don't we need to wake up some of the people here?
Well, Neil, I still don't think that... I think you could do just as well, be just as popular, still have the high ratings, without using some of the words that you use.
But see, now you sound like Barry Schreiber.
Right,
now you want to start censoring.
Listen, I'm not telling you how to...
Now you want to censor.
Don't you want another opinion?
Not on how I do my show, no.
Well, like I said, we don't think we're going to change how you do your show.
I mean, I only have one program director, and he's standing around up here somewhere, and he's got no complaints. He's got no complaints. He left already, you see. That's how confident he is that I can, handle my own show here. He didn't stick around.
Well, those are the opinions, and I think that somebody laughing in my ear over here. Is it? All right. But this is, this started off today like a commission meeting. I was kind of concerned about coming in.
No, we didn't come here to put you into a commission meeting.
You had all of the, you had all of the candidates here. I was looking for my agenda packet at home.
And you didn't hear any of them on the air, did you?
No.
Nor will you, because we're under equal time provision and we can't put any of them on the air. So we didn't come out here to politic or to have anybody else politic. We came out here to have a good time, to air out the issues, to give you a chance to respond.
Well, can you give us a prelude of what you're going to do Monday? Is Hallandale going to be the major topic Monday? Or, You're going to switch on to something else? I mean,
well, the good
listen,
the good news for you is at 11 o'clock, I got Bill Cosford, who's going to talk about movies for 3 hours. So I've only got 1 hour from 10 to 11 on Monday morning, kind of to freewheeler. So I guess, you know, it's in a court, it's in a public court. If there are people here who want me to talk about Hallandale on Monday morning, maybe we will. Is there anybody here who thinks we ought to talk more about Hallandale? What does that say to you? I mean, is that really what you want? Why don't you come right out and lay it out for me? Do you just want us to lay off Hallandale? Would that make you feel better? Because I think we're building something here.
What was that? Get a mic.
I think we're building something for you here.
Well, you just said we're not going to do what we want. So now you're asking the question.
Well, would you like to program my show? Is that the idea?
No,
In other words,
no, I don't think I could program your show. I could never get used to all this equipment. Going crazy with this equipment here.
but weren't you the guy that said about we have that 12-second delay, which is not a 12-second delay?
12-second delay.
Where did all of that come from? Are they hallucinating at the Hallandale Digest? Did they just make that stuff up?
If you can imagine this, is the day that Channel 4 did the news thing, one of your salesmen shows up in the city manager's office and wants us to buy time on the Neil Rogers show, which I told him was the quickest way for me to get out of my position, was to have the taxpayers buy time on your show.
I'm listening. Is there more? Is that it?
I'm having trouble hearing. What was your question again?
I didn't ask a question. No, you were making a point about, the fact that somebody from the station showed up and they wanted you to buy time, and then what happened?
No,
what happened after that? You didn't buy time. What did you do?
We didn't buy the time.
I don't know. Now, Mike is sitting over here impartially. I'm having a difficult time communicating. They pay me to communicate, but I'm having a difficult time communicating because I don't understand what you're saying. I really don't understand what you're saying. What is it that you folks want?
Yeah.
Let's all start. Wait a minute, folks. Let's all start this. This is the new thing in Hallandale, okay? Come on, everybody. 1, 2. This is the little... What is that?
Steel second, I think that is.
I mean, everybody else's work. Can you hear, Mike? Can you hear what's going on?
Fine.
I hear what's going on. Now, we've gone through three or four pair of... Why do you keep doing this? Is that a diversionary tactic?
You keep giving me defective headphones, that's why.
Did you hear that? You're giving him defective earphones. They aren't working?
Listen.
How about now, RJ? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Nelson, I can hear you.
Nelson?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. What's RJ stand for?
You figure it out.
What? Now, wait a minute. Does it stand for... Was that a kind of a campaign thing? Was that stand for really Jewish?
No. I'm not involved in the campaign. I think you know that.
Well, where did that little shot come from? Where did the Nelson come from? What is that supposed to be?
I slipped. Forget what I said.
You slipped?
Wrong.
No, that's my first name, and my last real name is Behelfer. There's somebody back here who's very upset. Why don't you use... Let me ask you this. If your real last name was Behelfer, would you use it on a radio if you had a radio show?
I don't care what you use.
Why are you getting so defensive? I'm trying to ask him a reasonable question,
I'm not
getting
defensive.
Getting squirmy on me
I'm not getting defensive, and I'm not squirming.
If your last name had that many letters in it, would you use it on a radio?
I don't care what name you use on the radio.
Good.
You can use whatever name you want to use on the radio.
Even Moishi Pupik I can use on you.
What's that?
Okay. No, I'm not speaking your language. 119 at WINZ. We have a little break to do. We're live at the Diplomat Mall. Our guest is City Manager Argy Intendola, and we have a cast of others here. Thousands is right. Yeah. We'll be back after this. 22 minutes after 1 at WINZ. We're live at the Diplomat Mall, and we got 40 minutes to go, and then Ernie Sochin will be along, and the City Manager Intendola is here, and if there are folks who've got questions about this whole business about Hallandale and about early birds and senior citizens or any of the others, we invite them. I think, are there people over here who want to speak? Okay, we're giving Lori a real workout here today, but they don't want to attack her anyway. They just want to attack me. Go ahead.
Mr. Rogers, I've been listening to your program very often, and some of the things you have said I have agreed with. However, yesterday when I was listening to your program and didn't get the time to call you about it, I felt very badly, so I'm very happy to be able to tell you about it now. I was very, very hurt when you put on that song, Shema Israel, because that hurt me very much. You have belittled us and you have put us down, and I really feel badly that you put that song on several times.
Well, first of all, the song wasn't Shema Yisrael. The song is called Be True to Your Shul, and it's a parody, and it's been played on radio stations all over the country, and it's by a group called the Kosher Club, and it's a satire and a comedy, and everybody I spoke to between yesterday and today has told me it was the funniest thing they've ever heard.
Well, it may be funny to some people, but it wasn't funny to our people. I'm sorry to say.
Well, what do you mean to our people? What does that mean?
Our Jewish people, it's not funny.
What do you mean by our Jewish people, as opposed to...
I'm talking about the Jewish people in Hallandale. You put that song on, and I thought that was terrible.
Well, wait a minute. Are there any Jewish people who live in Hallandale here today? No?
No.
There are no Hallandale Jewish people here today?
Oh,
Let's see hands. Not a one?
Come on.
Here's one. There's one. Was there anybody else here offended by Be True to Your Shul? Did that offend anybody? They want to hear it again. And they're Jewish and they live in Hallandale.
They're not the ones that listen to that song, because if they had heard that song, they would have been offended.
Well, it seems to me you want to be offended, and that's more the kind of ethnic paranoia that seems to exist here, a real lack of sense of humor in this community. You weren't offended by it, but then again, you're not Jewish, so I guess...
that doesn't mean anything.
Of course not.
I haven't heard the song.
Okay.
So I really don't know what you're talking about.
But I thought you were listening religiously now. I guess you're not.
No, I'm not listening.
Because Sonny Rosenberg, who's all upset, who's hanging around back here somewhere politicking, he's very upset with me. And he admitted to me he doesn't even listen to my show. He heard 1 hour of it, and he's all upset.
Well, I hear about it every time you mention my name. My daughter tapes those segments for me at home.
Well, wait a minute. Are you saying that she only turns it on? Is she psychic? Does she know when I'm going to mention your name?
No, she's not psychic.
Your daughter listens to my show on a regular basis?
Yes, she does.
Well, your daughter has good taste. I commend her on it. That's great. Okay, who have we got with some more questions for Mr. Intendola or me? This gentleman over here.
Over there. There we
go. Be true to your school. Let's hear it.
Well, they got it back at the
station.
You think we ought to do that and then take a poll on it and see if anybody was offended by it?
We want to hear it.
If Kyle, well, this is going to take a couple of minutes, and
come on, Uncle Neil.
Onus on Kyle, who is up in the control room at the radio station. Or can we communicate? Well, I guess Kyle is probably listening right now, and if he can go into the rack. Boy, this is really tough. Because I can't produce it here. I mean, it's back at the radio station, and if he can find it. It is in one of my 3 racks there, not in the Tom Lear rack, but one of the other ones. And if Kyle can run down there and get the cart and then take it back upstairs and hang on to it carefully with the other 3, we'll play it in just a minute or two if he's got it. Can he communicate to you? He can. Okay, so in other words, if he's lucky enough to find it, it says Be True to Your Shul, S-H-U-L.
When some Schlemiel tries to put me down and says he has a larger congregation, I tell him right away, now listen here, to negate your hurt of my shul, it's number 1 in the nation. Always pay $10 worth to be true to your shul, like you would to your mule. Be true to your shul, and then Hebrew school. Be true to your shul. Embroidered in gold, it sure is bold. I wear it everywhere when I go round to other AZAs. They don't know what to say, so be true to your shul. Learn the ancient myths. Be true to your shul. Support the B'nai B'rith. Be true to your shul. days I'll be jacked up on the Sabbath service. I'll be ready to pray. I'll be steady now. My girlfriend's at the altar in the choir now. She'll be singing away. Be true to your show. Let your darling say. Be true to your show.
Okay, there it is, and the general consensus. That group, by the way, is called Gefilte Joe and the Fish, is the name of that group. And it's called Be True to Your Shul. Now, is there anybody here who was offended by that? No. Okay, I guess that one lady thinks she was speaking for a lot of other people, but wasn't. Okay. Okay, who's next? Yes, speak up.
If what we're talking about here and offends people, what offends you is world-class rudeness. And if that's the issue we're talking about, I really commend you for bringing it to the public attention. But I just had to turn around and ask some guy standing in the middle of a cloud, smoking a rope that's enough to gag a maggot. I had to ask him, would he mind removing it a little ways, because I don't really want to smell that stuff. And he looked at me like I asked him if he had AIDS.
Do you? No.
Not that I know of.
Well, look, rudeness is everywhere, right?
Right.
But I think generally, look, we've had hundreds of people out here today. We've had a couple of them who've been, a little bit, they're on drugs or whatever. But 99% of them here have been pretty well behaved today. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Here we're talking about rudeness, and this guy don't know enough not to light up that cigar.
There's always going to be one. There's always going to be somebody who just...
There we go.
Exactly.
There it is.
I can't find it now. That's the problem.
Gosh.
That's been my problem all my life. It's another story. You wouldn't object, would you?
No.
Eat it instead.
Let's bring Taffy back here and we'll all light up. How would that be? We can't drink the wine on the air, but we can light up a little bit. Who's got the next question?
I think mine's smaller than yours.
Well, I'm sure yours is smaller, but that's... And if that's the case, you're really in a lot of trouble. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, yes, sir.
Is that a Cuban cigar, Neil?
See. Sent by Mayor Suarez, another one of my admirers. Yes, ma'am.
Neil?
Yes.
First of, oh, no. First
oh,
of all,
yes.
We love you. I'd like to refer to the lady who spoke about our sense of humor. I know our people have had a sense of humor through the good times and the bad times, and I hope we never, ever lose it. Right. That's all I have to say.
Amen.
We love you.
Amen. Thank you. And that's true. The Jewish people have had the best sense of humor, and they've needed it to survive, and especially in Hallandale, they need a good sense of humor to survive.
Well, we got a good sense of humor in Hallandale. You better not stand up with that cigar. You're going to fall off balance.
Understand to balance it out. Don't worry. Yes, sir.
Let me just say that anybody who listens to your show and doesn't think you're funny is not listening to you. I've listened for years.
Or is not alive. One or the other.
One of the two. I've listened for years. I think you have been especially funny lately. I like it when you do politics. I think it was political season last year. You put your time in on that where it needed to be. Now there's not as much going on, and if you take a look, especially what's coming out of Washington, how anybody can be doing other than the comedy routines that you're doing, inviting every comedian in South Florida to call in and try out, hopefully, their best material on you. I think it's very good, and I don't think I've practiced law in Hallandale for 6 years. I don't think anybody in Hallandale has any reason to be thin-skinned about what you're saying. except for the people who it's directed at, let them be defensive. The rest of us have nothing to worry about.
Thank you.
I got to add one thing to this gentleman. Sir, could you just come back here? If you gave him a cigar, would he not look like Groucho Marx?
Yeah.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever.
Laurie over there.
They're all auditioning today, you know this.
Hello, I'm a young New London, Connecticut. That's a long ways away. But I think what I got to do, we tried everything in New London to revive it. We had redevelopment. We did a lot of things. And nothing seemed to happen. But I think we'll have to get somebody like Neil there to tear our city apart verbally, and then we're going to grow. I think it's great, great, great.
All right.
Thank you.
You're big in New London now, too.
Great city, New London. I've been there. I spent a year there one day. It was great. Okay, who have we got next? I know that some of these people, you can tell by the looks on their faces, they're just pouring out with emotion.
Laurie, right up there.
Uh-oh, it's another red shirt.
The ring in his ear.
Neil, you're doing a great job. I just want to correct Mr. BJ or BM or whatever. It's RJ. It's Ely High, not Eli.
Ely, sorry.
Ely.
Shame on you.
I know.
Can't believe that you did that.
I know.
First you're calling me Nelson, and then you're mispronouncing the... what'll it be next?
I could call you Steve.
That would be the worst insult of all.
I won't do that then.
Speaking of that, by the way, you know, for all of the complaints that you politicians have had, it could have been a lot worse. Sandy Payton could have done the early bird, and everybody would have gone to sleep, okay? So just be glad I'm the one who did it. Yes, ma'am.
Neil, I have 4 radios in my house, and everyone's tuned to your station. You have brought in this whole world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's nice. Okay, 1:35 at WINZ. We're going to crank the bottle of wine open while we take a little break, and then we'll come right back. At the Diplomat Mall, and we have had a sensational gathering here today. Now, you'd have to admit that this has been a fun crowd, wouldn't you?
I think so. It has been fun.
We've had a couple of nudniks out there, but it's just like when you do a show, nudniks to spice it up a little bit, and you have to, have a little fun with them and let them have their fun, and that's what life is all about. And this has been great. This has been a great exercise in democracy here today.
Except when you bang on them.
Okay, I wanted to ask one question that's been a mystery to everybody. And
why do I live in Miramar, right?
No. Notice we haven't asked that yet today. We're saying one thing, and I guess maybe this is part of Hallandale's sense of humor that we don't understand. They have a real dry sense of humor. Have you noticed that? And when I came into the mall this morning, I noticed I was sitting out here in front, and we get all these conflicting stories about how these guys, it's a big put-on and it's a joke. And then, of course, we see, we hear from city fathers saying this has got to stop and we're going to go out there and catch them. What is that all about? I mean, is that a reflection of what's going on in City Hall? Or, I mean, what is that?
The outhouse gang is not consisted of any city employees. It's a tradition.
Gene Stevens isn't in that, is he?
Signs, you could gather that. But typically what they do is they create signs that do what you've done for the last several weeks, is to rib the city and the commissioners and the city officials. And they do this each year on Halloween night. And it's all done, I guess, in fun.
In fun.
Yes, in fun.
So in other words, Neil Rogers isn't the first guy to come along and have a little fun and poke fun at the city of Hallandale.
The outhouse gang does that
for 8 years. Yes. So we're like Johnny-come-latelys, and it gives me an idea. They do it like one day a year, and they put you guys on the map. Maybe like the first 2 or 3 months of every year on my show. Maybe the first 4 or 5 months of every year. We might just, single out Hallandale and make it part of like a ritual and just have a little fun with it.
If you continue doing this, we're going to have to expand the boulevard a couple more lanes. And we're going to need more than crosswalks.
I think the mayor could kind of ride that outhouse concept probably for governor, from the outhouse to the state house.
Yeah.
I could see it all now.
Excellent. And he certainly would have to be an improvement on what we've got there right now. In fact, I think our current governor could benefit by what you've got out there.
I think that's a well-constructed outhouse.
Excellent. Well, we're going to be checking it out after the show and see who's hiding in
You'll have to stand online.
See who's hiding in those closets in there, and if they've left any of the goodies inside. They steal all that stuff. Okay, who's next here? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you come on at night. She sings "Oh My Darling." She likes what she says.
Thank you.
Not on night.